Okay, everybody. My name is Jenny. I'm going to introduce you to TOEIC. When many Taiwanese parents tell the children to, hey, get a TOEIC exam certificate. It's going to be an honor to the family. Well, the children will say, Mom, I can't. You see, because I have so many bad grades on the school subjects already, my pressure is enough. I can't. So, but you might have a question. What is TOEIC? TOEIC is a high-level exam, very high, higher than anything. Yeah, it might be the highest level exam of all, yeah, etc. But it's very hard to prepare, very hard, because the cost is very high, very expensive. So if you are poor, I might not want to introduce you to this exam at all because you won't get a certificate. So if your English major is not well enough, I totally did not recommend you to enter this exam thing. Because, number one, TOEIC's questions are very quick. Soon they read it out, you always have to react back as fast as possible. As fast as possible. And it might not be a very good thing if you read less. Because the problem is, if you read less, you might not understand the paragraph that they just gave you. And you might have to waste a lot of time to figure it out, and etc. And the TOEIC thingy, you see? TOEIC is, you might think it was a lot of pressure. You might think it's a lot of pressure. I can only tell you, pressure is a must. Because if you don't have pressure, you won't learn the language of TOEIC. Well, it's impossible for most Chinese people to act out to this. But because the vocabulary is very hard to memorize, very hard, extremely the hardest thing of all. And the reading here, you always have to quick scan. After scanning, you have to scan the questions. After the questions, you have to answer right away. Because the TOEIC's question, always when you're answering them, they will turn to the second question. And you might not have time to rest. Exactly. And number 3, you have to write more. Because if you don't write more, end of discussion. You won't pass. Because if you don't write more, your grammar will be a tragic. And if it was a tragic, then you know, everything will turn out to be bad. And yeah, so this is TOEIC. And many parents think that their children need this exam certificate to make sure they go to good university. Yeah, good future. But many children does not expect that. Many children think pressure. Pressure is enough. I can't. I don't want it. Yeah, but their parents think they're not international enough, so they make their children to take the exam. And their children always complains. So, duh. Hello, mommy. I doesn't want this. They always come up with etc. Motivated, crazy things. to explain to their mom that they don't want to take the exam. And their mom will always have to say, come on, it's for your university, it's for your future, you have a bright future after you have the certificate. Yeah, but to myself, I ain't gonna say, if you can't handle the pressure, don't think about it. Don't daydream about it. It's going to be a dream to you, only a dream, because there is a lot of levels, and the higher the level gets, the harder. The harder things you have to remember, you have to memorize. Okay, number 1. This is how I prepare. This is my prepare schedule. Number 1, you always have to memorize enough vocabularies. Enough vocabularies or this book. The or thing. You have to memorize it all. Because in paragraphs, they might come out and say like this. For example, Paul always go on airlines, blah blah blah. Yeah. And you might not understand what is the airline. What does it mean? Why is it called airline? Yeah. What's the definition? Seriously? You're dead if you don't know this. Okay, number 2. Listen carefully. Listen carefully is very important because the questions come out very fast, and as soon as the question came out fast, you have to answer it. You have to answer it as fast as you can, because it doesn't take a lot of time. Yeah, you have to listen carefully. Number 3, read more. Read more, because there is paragraphs. It's creepy paragraphs. Paragraphs are totally hard, because there's a lot of words, a lot of explanations, a lot of blanks, a lot of things. You have to answer them right away. No matter what, you have to answer them right away, and it's going to be a lot harder because in a paragraph there are millions of words. Millions. Seriously, millions. And if you don't practice reading them faster, you're going to be dead. Dead again. End of discussion. Dead. And if you don't follow instructions, you might not have the certificate. Yeah. And number 4, practice. Practice this cycle over and over and over again. I know it's very hard because you have a full schedule and you have a very rough day at school and stuff like math, English, and then etc. I am to admit it. To me, I'm a student too. I'm an English major student. English major students have to learn computers, have to learn many etc. blah 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 things. Yeah. The pressure is hard on me. It's very high. It's very hard. It's very stressful. It's very exhausting. But you have to like organize your time, or pull your time out for TOEIC for this. If you don't, then your result might not be good. Okay. Everybody always says, there's a legend says practice makes perfect, but to me it doesn't even make any sense, because sometimes I practice, the result always be a tragic. It's like I haven't even practiced. It's like 0. So I really admit it. Practice only will always calm you down and make yourself on track and learn the ropes, but it doesn't always come out perfect. It doesn't always come out perfect. I admit it, really seriously. It doesn't always come out perfect. So you will still have to practice. Yeah, I recommend you still have to practice in the way it was supposed to be, because in that time, in that day, you won't be very nervous, you won't be so stressful, you might not be so bang. Yeah, you might not be so got crazy. So practice is a must. Practice is a must. Yeah. So this is the end of my video. Just if you like it, just follow it. You can post it on IG, Facebook, Twitter, Line. Okay, you can post it anywhere, but if you like it, just put a good stamp on